Up next, we've got Hotline Miami. Friends, if you'd like to introduce yourselves and take it away.
Hello everyone, I'm JACK4L and we'll be playing Hotline Miami, as you can see. Yeah, so I want to give a quick disclaimer, yet important bit, because I believe it needs to be brought up. If you don't know what Hotline is, then this is a game that features notorious inconsistent scenes of flashing lights and high-packed violence. So if you're by any means not comfortable with watching that type of content, then you can completely pass through this one. As you can see, there's a 30-minute estimate. I should be able to finish the run in like 25 or so. So afterwards, the estimate time, you can, return, come back. I'm not gonna be angry or anything. Yeah. So as a commentator, I have my idol, and most importantly, my mentor, and most importantly, my friend Jurenstein. Hello.
Hello, I'm Jurenstein. I talk about
That's
Hotline.
all. Yeah, so the timer will start as I hit the start new game in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, so I played this game a lot, but I can't really think of any introductory words. You maybe?
Yeah, I mean, you already said it's high impact violence. It's also high speed. The game kind of wants you to speedrun it, and in other ways it doesn't want you to speedrun it. And that's a very nice logo for a couple more times, perhaps. Your mask selections are bad. So yeah, you just run around through these levels. You smack everyone on the head. At least in the first level, all you can do is smack people on the head. Later on we'll get actually fire guns. And so yeah, you go in, everyone dies, you go out, and that's every level. But of course it's a bit more complicated than that, and you will probably notice that JACK4L will die a couple of times. If you like, you can try and count. It's hard to count when you're running.
Yeah, what do you mean a few times? Like average run is bound to have like
always when I
10
run, I'm surprised how many times I actually did die.
Yeah, like average Hotline run features like, I don't know, 10 to 20 times of dying.
Yeah, oftentimes you get a bad lead because there's a lot of RNG in the levels, like the state in which the level loads and the AI is moving and doing things, and sort of their reaction times are loaded randomly in the beginning. And so if you get a bad seed, you just keep dying. Like, you'll die 5 times on the same spot over and over again. That can happen. So you rack up those 10 to 15 deaths really, really quickly. And the philosophy of Hotline speedrunning is always, it's faster to die fast than to live slow. So there's never been a world record in any category that has been deathless. It just doesn't happen. There's no point in playing that way.
Yeah, I believe it's correct because as you can see probably, or not because I didn't die so far. Yeah, it's about to change anytime soon, but in Hotline enemies die to a singular hit, to a singular bullet, but so does the player, and that's the problem.
Yeah, everything happens very easily. And mistakes too as well.
Yeah, so about the mask selection, we normally use Brandon in this category because he moves 30% faster and by far he's the fastest mask in the game. There are some other useful masks like Tony, who has little fists, or Jake, who has little throws. It's not forbidden to change the masks between levels, but it obviously costs time of cycling through all of that. And also, after picking up a mask, there are also the level cycle is kind of ruined, which causes further indirect time loss. So that's just an unwritten rule at this point that if we choose one mask, then we stick with it
Yeah,
to the
so
end of the
that's
run.
kind of a function of the category. The category is just sort of don't do any skips. So there's any percent for the game where you can skip entire levels. It's not as interesting as it sounds because I mean we kind of play Hotline to play Hotline, not to skip Hotline. It's already a short game. And yeah, the other rule is don't go to the main menu. So we will go through these little cutscenes that take like 10 seconds a pop in between levels. You won't see those in any percent, but here we do
You're
that
in.
just because of
You're in.
sort of the NG plus nature of it.
You're in. Sorry, Yorin, but I have to interrupt you because, yeah, in this level there's a very loud noise and you probably don't want to hear that, so you might, you know, be either prepared or turn down your music or whatever.
Yeah. Heavy
Yeah, so you ready?
again, 2
Ready?
seconds.
3, 2, 1, boom. Yeah, now don't complain on the chat that your ears are in the pain because I literally want you.
It's the only loud noise in the entire game, luckily.
Yeah, that's cool.
49-second tension, that's good. Decent enough.
Yeah, so the IGTs you can see on the top left corner afterwards finishing the level, it's not quite accurate because these apartment intermissions are also included in this. So to convert we would have to like subtract 11 to 12 seconds depending on how fluent our movement is.
Speaking of fluent movement, Full House is one of my favorite levels because it's really movement dependent. Like you really need tight movement to get through this level really nicely with Brandon. Brandon, as Jackal said, Brandon moves really fast, but his acceleration isn't any faster than normal, so it takes a while to get to full speed, and he takes a while to turn corners, and it's all a bit whack.
Yeah, so Jurenstein likes to refer to Brandon as quote-unquote idle tanker because that's how he works really. So the way acceleration works in this game is that we are not accelerate to full speed at once, only over time. Like I believe it's half of a frame per half of a unit per one frame, up to 4. So yeah, we don't speed up immediately after once.
The weapon spread, the bullet spread is really bad. It's really bad. It exists in the game, so it's a thing. And trying to kill people off screen is kind of hard.
Yeah, this is the only. I believe this is the only level when people can kill you consistently off screen. Clean hit sucks, by the way. It's I don't like this level, although it's gimmicky.
Yeah, off screen is a relative term, kind of, because there's a button on it. There's a key on the keyboard that you can press to sort of free your cam. So we call it free. I call it free look, I think, or shift look. Oh, we do call it shift look because it's shift. But yeah, you can look much further by pressing it, and we always press it. If you're really good at the game, you always press it because it's just such a powerful tool. But yeah, if you play casually, you will find your horizons are a bit more shallow than when Jackal plays it.
Yeah, so neighbors features a new enemy type. These big guys, I can only kill them with firearm. Sometimes they do dying animation, and that's annoying because they can still block the bullets.
Yeah, they can block a lot of bullets. If they stand in front of the other enemies, they can tank all your bullets, and the other enemies can shoot through them at you. So yeah, it gets kind of messy in these. That's kind of as a like 2 floors here where you can die quite easily depending on the strat you do. So because of them. And here's a nice boss fight. It's the second boss fight.
Yeah,
This is the first one we didn't even mention. The boss fights are really short and kind of not that interesting, but this one's interesting.
yeah, so this guy is a biker, and his movement is entirely dependent on wherever I move. So you could say that there's no RNG at all. Yeah, so if I move right, for example, then he moves left. I think that's how it works. Yeah, so I want to get him stuck on this desk, and there we go. Yeah, so we will now assign cool thing. There we go. Yeah, so whatever we have done doesn't really save that much time. I think only 5 seconds for Brandon, but you're in. Care to explain this?
Yeah. I mean, in short, it's basically the devs didn't want you to get stuck in a wall, and there's a very, very precise setup there, as you could see. Like, he gets him stuck on the desk just for convenience sake, and then he stands at a very specific spot at the wall to get the boss stuck in the wall. And so when then he does the execution on the boss, he himself gets stuck in the wall, and the game is like, oh, what do I do? You're stuck in the wall. So it puts you where you last press space bar. The space bar is the execution button. And yeah, we can just choose to press spacebar at the end of the floor, which is the elevator, and say 5 seconds. It's tricky at first, but then, you know, when you've done it dozens, hundreds of times,
yeah, but the fact of the matter is that you don't really need this skip if you want a good run.
Because people always, I think that happens in every speed game, people overestimate just how great some notorious skips are. You know, it's a flashy one, it's not really one that makes or breaks your run.
Yeah, that's a cool thing. That's a one cool thing about Hotline, that it doesn't really have many sophisticated quote-unquote skips. There's only few of them, and relatively easy to understand.
Yeah, Hotline is really just sort of play the game at a high level, almost like it feels intended, most of what you do. But it really doesn't look like any casual gameplay.
Yeah, so this is a unique floor. When I don't have to kill everyone, the trigger will activate if I kill exactly 11 or 14 enemies total. And if I kill 11 and 12 at the same time, then the game will soft lock, because the condition will be never met. Yeah, that's a cool thing.
Hotline is so buggy. I mean, doesn't everyone say that about this speed game? But yeah, Hotline is a weird. It was a 2-man project. I think only one of them that did the programming. So you have gems like an event only happens if the number is exactly 11. If you get it from 10 to 12, game soft locks. That's some programming gems right there. And now we're on one of the most notorious levels. Everyone who's new to the game hates this level. Jackal and I don't know, I love the level by now. I suppose Jackal doesn't mind it too much anymore.
Yeah, Hot and Heavy is literally the best level in the game.
It's super technical at the level that Jackal does it. But pretty much every screen here he does something that you shouldn't do at home.
Yeah, the thing with the level is that it punishes you, but only because of quote-unquote skill issue. Like, if you get used to it, then there's rarely ever a thing that can screw you over.
I don't agree. I want to go on public record saying that I do not agree with that at all, but okay. Floor 4, just floor 4 at the glass.
Okay, yeah.
Do.
Yeah, I mean relatively, yeah.
But skill can get you really
This
far
is
in Hot and Heavy. Whereas other levels may have like a skill ceiling. Hot and Heavy, it's an infinitely high skill ceiling.
Yeah, so IL-wise, this level can be, as far as human being skills concerned, then can go as low as 39, but it's not going to be achieved ever because of that disgusting skill ceiling it has. Urenstein has 44, I have 45. The other people who have been doing these ILs are quite behind.
Yeah, we have a reluctant IL scene for the game. The big levels are not so popular.
Yes.
Oh man. Almost a nice deadline until that guy decided to go into the door.
Yeah, so this is another boss fight. Yeah, so I forgot to mention that these big guys make this dying animation dependent on their AI state. If it's either passive or charging, they won't do that, but if they're in investigating state, they will do that. This will be important to in reference to one of further levels. Just heads up. Also,
yeah, there's a lot of nuance to the AI behavior.
Yeah, except with that and mechanical skill mechanical skill. So yeah, aiming, movement is pretty much the entire speed tech philosophy behind Hotline, and those few minor skips I have mentioned before.
Coming up is an action low point in the game, which is appreciated during a run, but maybe less so during a marathon. So maybe this is the time for some messages from the marathon organizers.
Sure thing. Thank you for watching Speed Stuff for Trans Lives 2. We're here raising money for Equality Texas because trans rights are human rights. If you'd like to make a donation, press !D in chat or !C in chat for the donation link and to learn more about the charity. We do have an incentive for 3 different options to be written on the whiteboard in Half-Life Alyx, and if we make it to $100 raised before Delta, we'll also be rendezvousing with Sans. So go ahead and get those donations in, friends.
Thank you.
I'm disappointed you didn't just go through the doctor there.
I mean, it is possible, but I'd rather not
It's spooky. Yeah,
take any chances.
You can be so fast that like you walk like through their head and they see you like inside of them.
Yeah, it is technically
it just looks
possible,
cool when you're
but
like just exactly right that sort of pass through their back
so
or their shoulder.
So coming up we have literally the hardest and worst arguably level in the game. Yeah, so in this level we don't fight mobsters, we fight cops who were programmed separately and they behave differently and their pathfinding is even worse.
Yeah, there's a lot of odd behavior here. There's also some odd techniques where you see how that person, like that policeman, just sort of ran past Jacko, even though Jacko was presumably in obvious sight of him. The AI is really weird when you're hiding behind tables. They can't, under all circumstances, see over a table. But like this detective, okay, it didn't happen this time. But yeah, detectives, the big guys here are also really weird.
Yeah, the reason I have just get past through this detective unharmed was again tied to his AI state. If they're in investigating state, they will just ignore me.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to understand is when they are following a sound.
Hey, you're in, look, finally a good assault at once. Cool. Yeah, especially during actual runs.
It's legit good.
106 is
deathless.
Thanks.
Yeah, your first floor was like the only one that was a bit whack. The second floor was really good and really risky because I don't even do the gun stuff. Like you just sort of did the ending of floor 2 with gun. I don't do that. And then Vengeance is another hard. This one's not quite as bad as Assault, but still, it's technical. The honor, yeah, and the AI is just sort of the.
Yeah, it's not a good level in runs because you're bound to randomly die.
And then what you see here is like, what's the toughest strat in the game, perhaps?
Yeah, it's because of the hitboxes of both of the bullets and the AI. In professional runs we do melee strats and gun strats at like 50-50 proportions. The guns are good, like they lure people, but they have really small. But the bullets really have small hitboxes, and so
yeah, and the
so
enemies
do the enemies.
can sometimes survive a bullet, so that makes you think sometimes. Whereas a melee is a guaranteed kill. If you're in reach of just walking up to someone and smacking them, which with Brandon, because it walks so fast, obviously, that makes it a lot easier. Brandon loves a good melee. So yeah, it's roughly a 50-50 split, and that's really fun about Hotline. You swap weapons a lot, you juggle around. Not so much when you play Tony, but with Brandon, there's a lot to do to optimize.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all noticed, but guns in this game are one-time use. Like we shoot a double barrel twice and it becomes useless.
Yeah. You have no ammo on your body.
Yeah, so this
the game
is
forces you to always swap around.
Yeah, so this is the end of the main story. We still have one more chapter to go, so this will not be time at the time yet. I think the last part, if things will go good, probably they won't. It will last at like 3 minutes.
Yeah, the final chapter, not the final chapter, the final part of the game. On paper, it's easy. Like on paper, it's so simple and so short, but. Yeah, tell that to someone who's dying 5 times in a row on Safe House. That Safe House is the simplest level. And you're not making friends.
So in this last chapter we're playing this guy against whom from Neighbors. So his playstyle is quite different. First of all, he cannot use enemy weapons, but he has Mid Cleaver, the perfectly good melee weapon, as well as free-throwing knives of perfect accuracy, and he moves 15% faster, which is half of the bonus that
makes him faster
Brandon
than
has.
Snap, but a bit slower than Brandon. But that's still good, because he's so melee focused, he only has 3 throws. On each level you have 3 knives to throw, so you're very reliant on melee. And yeah, these patterns, they're like, when you don't get a loader, it's annoying. So yeah, you just, at the end of a stressful run, you are almost guaranteed to die on one of the last few levels.
Yeah, so the deal with this last guy on top right was that sometimes he does not shoot me, and I believe that's like 43% chance that he will not shoot me. He will just go to my last known position, because it's again dependent on enemy AI states. While gunmen are in investigating state, they cannot shoot through transparent objects, and they have additional reaction buffer of 13 frames, while the reaction cycle is at 13 frames normally, so 13 divided by 30 means 43%.
Oh, here's another nice clip there. You sort of just punch. Like this time, the last thing where we went to the elevator, that was the same fight, but from the other perspective. And funnily, we can almost do the same thing where we just go straight to the elevator. You just punch, You just punch Jack
Yeah,
into the
that's
wall,
fun.
and then the execution is a cutscene. It's a little cutscene that puts you on the other side.
Yeah. So this is the last level, and as I lose control of a biker, as I touch his motorbike, this will be the time. So 3, 2, 1, time. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know what the time
The
was,
run's over.
but it felt like a good run. Like you had some deaths, but nothing big.
It's 23:45. Yeah, I think that's
45. That's
I-
pretty good.
yeah,
That's better than what the world record was when I started running the game. So
Yeah,
Took me a
I
minute to
believe
get there.
I believe that could be the best time in history of marathons of Hotline.
In a
So
marathon?
yeah, that's
Probably.
that's cool. That's cool indeed.
very possibly, probably actually.
Probably.
That was a genuinely good
Yeah,
run.
yeah.
What a good assault makes, huh?
Good assault happened at once here. And yeah, so thanks everyone for watching this thing. I should probably somehow encourage you to run Hotline, but I'm not gonna do that because it's not worth it, you know. It's fun to play casually. It's also cool to have a Hotline. As the game, you have quote-unquote completed all of the achievements in. But I wouldn't really recommend this as a speed game because it needs like a huge amount of time contributed to that, and I don't think that's worth in the end.
It takes a part from your soul, but it is a popular first speed game, and it's a popular game to sort of get a half-decent run and then just drop it. You don't have to commit your life to it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, so thanks again, and I wish you to enjoy the rest of the marathon. So
Yeah, thanks for having us.
see ya.
Thank you so much, everybody. That was wonderful. Really appreciated that run. We did receive a donation 2 minutes ago from Kerr. If I mispronounced that, you are more than welcome to yell at me. I'm very bad at pronunciation. This donation was for the amount of $35. It was submitted for the turbo lesbian power being written on the whiteboard in Half-Life Alyx. The donation reads, if any of you haven't played Hotline Miami, it's dope, but really hard. Thanks for hosting an awesome event. Thank you so much for your donation.